Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balava Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Balava Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranja Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranja Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Balava Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Balava Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranja Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranja Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Go Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 22, The Marriage of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. Text 13, so 3:22, 13. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. One who rejects an offering that comes of its own accord, but later begs a boon from a miser, thus loses his widespread reputation, and his pride is humbled by the neglectful behavior of others. Purport. The general procedure of Vedic marriage is that a father offers his daughter to a suitable boy. That is a very respectable marriage. A boy should not go to the girl's father and ask for the hand of his daughter in marriage. That is considered to be humbling one's respectable position. Svāyambhuva Manu wanted to convince Kardama Muni, since he knew that the sage wanted to marry a suitable girl. I am offering just such a suitable wife. Do not reject the offer, or else, because you are in need of a wife, you will have to ask for such a wife from someone else, who may not behave with you so well. In that case, your position will be humbled. Another feature of this incident is that Svāyambhuva Manu was the emperor, but he went to offer his qualified daughter to a poor brahmana. Kardama Muni had no worldly possessions. He was a hermit living in the forest, but he was advanced in culture. Therefore, in offering one's daughter to a person, the culture and quality are counted as prominent, not wealth or any other material consideration. Omagantavadandasya gyanana shalakya chakshumitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svāyambhuva Gadamayam Dadati Swavedantikam Katayata Yata Yasmin Daskaram Sakaram Bhavet Rishite Vipriyatim Syat Shri Chaitanya Nanamitam Vanchakapaturu Vischa Kripatsindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavnibhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 So when something comes on its own accord, a great offering, one should accept. If one rejects it, then it's a missed opportunity. Trying to get such an offering again may not happen. So if everything is presented nicely, according to scripture, according to Vaishnava etiquette, then one should accept the situation. It's actually due to false ego that we reject the situation we're in. We have our own plan how it should be. No, actually the person should say this, then I'll do. And we all plan it in our mind, how each part of the situation will plan out. And because it doesn't plan out as we plan, then we reject the whole thing due to false ego. This situation is given to you by Krishna. And it's for you to somehow serve Krishna in that situation. Otherwise we're acting on false ego. No, it should be under my terms, how these things should plan out. The preaching project that I want, no, it should turn out actually I planned it that this person will help, not this other person that Krishna sent. We somehow plan our spiritual life, even the people that should enter, okay, that's how it should be. Or it should be in this temple. Or no, I actually want to study more, not do the service in the kitchen. Or no, or I don't want to do the service in the kitchen, I should be on the street doing Harinam. Know what the service that's been given to me. So we always try and control the situation. And this is the point that's given here by Svāyambhuva Manu. He's saying, no, this is the plan of the Lord that's come out. You actually desired a wife. We know about that. And, you prayed to the Lord to send you a wife. You couldn't maintain your vow of celibacy. And you asked the Lord for a wife. And Devahuti is very qualified. She is the daughter of Svāyambhuva Manu, who is one of the Mahajan, also a Prajapati, but a Mahajan. 12 authorities one of the 12 authorities on the process of bhakti. So the daughter must be very exalted. She is very faithful to her father. Whatever she wanted, she would follow. And she was not an ordinary girl. In those times, they had skyscrapers, palaces that were so tall. And she would be playing with a ball on the rooftops. And then Gandharvas would fly on their vimanas over the top. And just by looking at Devahuti's beauty, they would faint and fall off the plane. This type of beauty that she had, that she could bewilder those of the heavenly planets. And now, what is Svāyambhuva Manu doing? He is offering her to a hermit in the forest. He has no wealth, no possessions, no house, maybe a small cottage, a hut. There's no opulence you could say materially for this person. But no, he is doing what's called kanyadan. One gives their daughter in charity. And then along with that charity, there is a dowry. So the dowry is not for the family of the groom. That's what the modern style is. It's like, okay, pay your dowry now, kind of thing, It's like you have to pay, and it's this much. And it's funny because some cultures say that the bride's family have to pay the dowry, or the groom's family have to pay the dowry. I don't know which. In Indian culture, it's the bride's family have to pay. African culture, bride family?
African culture, the
Groom's family. Yeah, I think Chinese is also a groom's family. So it's different. There's this idea of dowry that you have to give so much wealth to the other family. But the original idea is that the father has such a deep attachment for his daughter. I don't know if you know any fathers. So, if you have a daughter, it's that's the one you're only thinking about. You know, you're so obsessed with like whatever she's doing, her safety. Whole mind is attached to the daughter. My brother has a daughter. She's 6 years old. And his whole consciousness is on her. You know, her education, her extracurricular activities, her health, everything. She's so amazing. It's like absorbed his whole consciousness. It's actually very sweet. So this is natural. So due to that affection, when one gives their daughter in marriage, so they're giving a dowry to make sure the daughter is well taken care of. That's the idea. That's why you hear about kings giving like so much dowry along with their princess. So many chariots, men servants, maid servants, you know, horses, elephants. It's all just, it's a gift from the father to the daughter, so she's maintained nicely in her next stage of life. And this whole idea of kanyadan, dan means charity, to give the girl in charity to a suitable husband. And it's quite interesting also that he didn't marry her to another prince. He married her to a sage. There's also another interesting point. Usually, like, when it comes to Kshatriyas, you marry another Kshatriya, you know, or if it's like a daughter of a Brahmana, then marry another Brahmana. Obviously here, Kardama Muni is a Brahmana. They can marry down. They can marry a Kshatriya wife. That's allowed. But the other is considered, it happens, I think it's called pratiloma and aniloma. And I don't know which one is which. But if the man marries someone of a higher caste, that is considered, it's not considered looked down upon, it's just considered unorthodox. Because the wife should take a role as a servant, and just like we see with Gandhari. She was she's from Afghanistan, Gandhar, that's where she's from. And she was given in charge to Dhritarashtra, who was blind. And once she knew that her husband would be physically blind, she voluntarily blindfolded herself. This is a sign of chastity. That the daughter should be faithful to the father, and should be chaste and faithful to the husband, and never try and take a superior role. In this way, one captures the heart of the husband, and then whatever she desires, if she does ask for anything she desires, the husband will do whatever it takes to fulfill her desire. And you can see how powerful she became by her chastity. By voluntarily blindfolding herself, she was able to nearly defeat the whole Pandava army. There was like a chance for them to win. And she said before the battle, to Duryodhana, before his fight with Bhima, that's right. So they were going to have like a club fight. And then Gandhari tells Duryodhana, like, okay, you come to me naked and I'll take my blindfold. When I look at you, your whole body will be impenetrable. It'll be like solid iron steel, like this. So Duryodhana was doing this, and he's walking towards Gandhari's home, and of course Krishna has to get involved. And Krishna says, hey, what are you doing walking around naked? You know? Duryodhana goes, no, I'm going to see my mother. You know, she asked me to see her and come naked. But it's your mother, you can't appear in front of her naked. At least put like a gamsha on or some cloth to cover your private area. And he goes, okay, fine, I'll do it, you're right, okay. And he goes in front of Gandhari, and she goes, oh, you're here? You're naked? Yes, yes. She takes her blindfold, and she sees like, you know, there's like a gamsha, the thighs are covered. And it's like, oh, you fool, why did you cover yourself? You know, and they said, oh, well, Krishna. Oh, okay, you know. So then Duryodhana was fighting with Bhima, and Duryodhana's club guru, like, you know, fighter, like martial arts guru, is Balaram. And there's no better guru to have for fighting with the mace than Balaram. And then Bhima, he was considered like more strong, but less skillful. whereas Duryodhana was less strong but more skillful. And they were fighting for days and no one could get the upper hand. Then Krishna went like this to Bhima. He hit his thigh. So Bhima knew, okay, it's time to hit below the belt. And then he hit his thigh and it broke his thigh. And then Duryodhana lost the battle with Bhima. And this coincides with one of the vows that Bhima made. He made 3 vows. So one of those vows was that, so Duryodhana, he called for Draupadi and says, hey, you should sit here, you belong, tapping his thigh. And Bhima was so angry and he vowed, okay, I vow that I break the thigh of Duryodhana. So he did it there in this battle. Another one was when Dushishan, after they lost Draupadi in the gambling match, and then he pulled Draupadi by the hair and tried to disrobe her and dishonor her, such a chaste lady. And then Bhima was so angry, he made the vow that I will rip the heart out of Dushishan and drink his blood. And Draupadi also made a vow. She's the Kshatriya woman. She made the vow that I will not tie my hair again because it was touched by Dushishan. I will not tie it again until it's bathed in the blood of Dushishan's blood. So even the women have this warrior spirit. And the third one was that he vowed to kill all 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. So it would be funny on the battlefield, if so many people get the upper hand on one of the sons of Dhritarashtra, but they wouldn't kill him, because they have to leave him for Bhima. So like this. Gandhari had such chastity, she could have allowed Duryodhana to beat Bhima, but Krishna interfered. Only God could interfere, you could say. So this chastity is very empowering for a woman. Such a qualified lady was Devahuti, and such a qualified man was Kardama Muni, practicing brahmacharya perfectly. He had great character. And the fact that he had personal darshan of the Lord, even that just establishes his character, that he can invoke the Lord to come and he have his darshan. On top of that, their union, they had the son of Kapila Muni, Kapila Dev. They had the Lord himself as their son. This is this is the only way you can have a healthy household life, I guess, that if one could have the Lord as their own son. So we see Svāyambhuva Manu he being a Mahajan, he could see that this union will bring so much auspiciousness to the whole universe. For eternity, we have the teachings of Kapila Deva, Sankhya Yoga, that is benefiting everyone for eternity. These great souls have this vision. And we should also honor that vision of our superiors, of our spiritual master, of advanced devotees that we come in touch with. They share the vision of Krishna, that so much auspiciousness can be spread. But we have such a small vision. We kind of like, I don't know if you ever started the shower, maybe there was like a spider or some insect in there. And then the insect is trying to run towards the water and you're trying to catch it and take it out of the water. Like this. And he's like, the spider's thinking, no, that's my safe place. And no, you're running to danger here. But from our perspective, we can see he's running to danger. And then we try and save it, and it's like fighting back, and it's like, no, you get out of here, like this. So in the same way, Krishna has this bigger perspective. We're running towards some inauspicious situation, but the advanced souls, the spiritual master can have a bigger vision for you. We cannot see. Has a great, great vision. We have some vision of our spiritual life, what it may look like, but they have such a greater vision. I remember when I first came to Krishna consciousness, and I was teaching martial arts. And I was thinking, yes, I can dovetail that in Krishna consciousness. Teach martial arts along with Bhagavad Gita. Sounds cool, right? And the temple I was in, I mean, they shared a different vision. You know, they didn't want me to do such a service. But I was so attached to, this is like my thing, and I can do it, and you know, I was so like kind of attached to the whole bridge preaching side of things. But I tried some Harinam, I've read the Bhagavatam, and I like these things too, but I thought like my nature was this. So then my authorities said that, no, you stop this, and they asked me, what service do you like the most? You know? And I said, I just like Harinam and reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then they said, okay, you're in charge of the Harinam. I was like, what? Because I was like only 2 months in the temple, and the devotees who were originally running the Harinam, they left to like different temples, or you know, went home, or some got married. So I was like, how am I, who's going to listen to me to come for Harinam? I don't know any instruments, I can't sing, I don't know anything. I just watch, I like the whole concept. And then my authority just said, don't worry, Krishna will help you. And I was just like, okay. You know, and the verse that came up was Anyas Chintayantamam Ye Janam Parapasate Tesham Nichabhiyuktanam Yogiksham Gahamyaham. So Krishna says, one who's always meditating on my transcendental form and worships me with exclusive faith, for that person, I preserve what they have and carry what they lack. So I go, if I give up this whole martial arts thing, which I was practicing for like 17 years, I just give it up. It doesn't matter, because Krishna will preserve it if I need to go back. And then whatever I lack in doing this Harinam service, he'll take, you know, he'll give me something. So then whatever energy I had for martial arts, I put it into the Harinam. And it was quite interesting, you know, I prayed to Lord Nityananda, let me play katas. I couldn't get any timing down, you know. It looks like I know music right before. No, zero music ability. And he gave me somehow, eventually I could play like the double beat, you know, like, you know, somehow got, oh wow, I got it, you know. Lord Nityananda gave it. And this whole thing of trying to like encourage the devotees to come, I was trying my best. I mean, it didn't happen. You know, I would ask the devotees, will you come for it? Yeah, I will try. They wouldn't come. Yeah. And I was taking shout of Kardama Maharaj then, and he said, if you want to conquer lust, make Harinam big. So that gave more impetus for this like Harinam service. I never thought I'd do Harinam at all, like that was not, I was thinking not at all, this was not my service. Actually I was thinking, I never thought of even being a brahmachari. I saw these monks in the town, I was like, no, that's not for me. I was thinking of being more like a bridge preacher, you know, like kind of what Jay Shetty is doing now. I was like, yeah, you know, I was thinking I'd be like that, you know, like, because I thought I'd get married, become some graphic designer, be like some example in the industry like this, and connect people to Krishna that way. But Krishna has his plan. And the spiritual master has his plan. So he could see what was perfect for me. And you can see from this Harinam service, I mean, when I was doing it locally in Melbourne, we went from like 3 people for every Harinam to 60 people to every Harinam every week, which was a big deal for me. And, you know, somehow I could learn to sing, somehow I learned to play the drum. And Krishna, Lord Chaitanya gave that abilities. But I never thought I was going to travel the world, that was for sure. But now I'm traveling like anything, non-stop for the last 13 years. And what do? I just chant Hare Krishna, you know. Everyone just, the main question everyone asks me is like, so where do you get the money? You know, you're just chanting Hare Krishna on the street, where do you get the money, you know? Even another devotee was upset, she goes, you don't even do books, I don't understand. Somehow it goes on. Because I'm trying my best to follow the plan of my spiritual master, Krishna's plan. So in the same way, we can see Svāyambhuva Manu has this vision of Krishna, and is trying to advise Kardama Muni. It's like, yes, accept my daughter as your bride, so much auspiciousness would come from this. It's bigger than you think. It's bigger than you. And Kardama Muni, he's showing that example of how to follow the plan of the Lord. And we see this is the culture and qualities that he has. That culture that follows the plan of the Lord, the etiquette of following the instruction of the spiritual master, this is the secret of success. This is a culture of success, actually. When one follows the book Bhagavat, here Srimad Bhagavatam, and the person Bhagavat, the spiritual master. This, our culture is Nityam Bhagavat Sevya, to always constantly serve the Bhagavatam. And that is done in two ways, by reading and hearing Bhagavatam, and by following the instructions of the spiritual master. So we should go between these two. And then we'll always be in this culture of success, the Bhagavat Dharma, the Bhagavat Marg, the path of the Bhagavat. And in this way, whatever material disqualification we may have, I was talking about in the last class, we are so disqualified according to Vedic culture, to be either a woman or a man with great character. We have so much in our past that we've done that disqualifies us. Let alone being born in Kali Yuga, we are disqualified. So this connection to the Bhagavatam, to this culture of the Bhagavatam that's given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you look at the Bhagavatam, the introduction says the life of what it means to live the Bhagavatam, and it shows the life of Lord Chaitanya. So our connection to be successful is through Lord Chaitanya. Kata yata yasmin duskurum sukurum bhavet misrite vipriyatisa Sri Chaitanya nandanamitam. That if one meditates on Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet, difficult things become easy. But if one forgets to meditate on Lord Chaitanya, even easy things become difficult. So this is our saving grace. But this connection with Lord Chaitanya, and the easiest way to please Lord Chaitanya is Yagye Sankirtana Praye Yujanti Sumedasa. By executing the Sankirtana, worshipping the Lord by Sankirtana, coming together and chanting Hare Krishna. It's that easy. Yujanti Sumedasa. Those who engage in such worship, they have good brain substance. Sumedasa. So let's be intelligent, take the culture of success, and follow the plan of the Bhagavatam. Follow the plan of the spiritual master, which is the plan of Krishna, which is bigger than we can see. So I'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, you can hold this and ask. Okay, pass it to Mataji.
Thank you for a very inspiring class program. I actually have a realization as you are speaking, and I also think it will help us also that we try and carry out instructions, even though they may really be against our potential sometimes. But if you try to do it, a lot does help you. Stop getting stuck in my service. Because that's like another thing that we have there. Hey, my service. You don't even let anyone in to help. You don't even ask for help from anyone. And we're different for those reasons, that if we let others in and if we just do what is needed, the Lord gives the rest. And stop my service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask afterwards, like the main question is kind of personal?
Personally, you have to do it afterwards, but I mean something for all our benefit. That's nice.
Okay, so thank you for the class, and I find that there is no such thing as coincidence or irony in the material world. It's all by the Lord's arrangement. I find it quite, I don't know, it's weirdly auspicious that I've been a traveling person for like many years. I stay on farms and small holdings. I like earth and stuff. I stay in the forest a lot. I love it. And just hearing this about like Kardama Muni, endeavorhood, it's like it's making me think, like I was told in the beginning, don't take brahmachari, it's too much fire for you, too much energy, you'll burn people out, including your own self. Just dovetail your energies that side, because I was very artistic. I had a girlfriend at the time, like ladies that liked me and things like that, and I thought, this is the power of Maya. It kind of like, you think that you're right. Like you think, no, woman of Maya, this is Maya, I know what I want to do. And the more I went along with it, it got more difficult. And I feel like there's no loss or diminution, because even if you make the wrong decision in Krishna consciousness, you still learn something. So that to me is what's so deep. But now the thing is, I don't understand, how does one go ahead with the instruction from the spiritual master if one is in an institution that doesn't recognize that, like for example, like Gaudiya and ISKCON are like on two separate formats, yet they preach the same thing. Yet for like semantic and respect, you would never go to that person for that. And I feel like there's a giant gulf. So like that is the topic of the personal question, but now how would you say, when one takes a spiritual master outside of, let's say, ISKCON, or one is fearful of taking initiation because religion has this power to bewilder the living entity if corrupted. They can really just say, look, yeah, you make these vows, you take this, you wear this, you do that, and sometimes the person doesn't get enough chance to like ask all the questions and really doubtfully go ahead. Kind of just says have faith and just do that. How does one, I know it's almost impossible, how does one retract? Because you said in the beginning that when one refuses a ordained, or what was the word you used? Of its own accord, like comes of its own accord. Is it irreplaceable? Like you can't go back. It's like now you have to understand that's your karma. When you refuse that boon or that accordance, now when you go and you try and do things by yourself, it's more difficult, because everyone knows that you had your chance in the beginning, but we all have our nartas. So is that just Krishna's arrangement all over again? And until you actually admit that, okay, I had the chance back then. Once you admit, is that when you start to call Krishna's arrangement back again? Or does Krishna just like only make one or two arrangements? Because I can imagine he would get kind of like, not upset, but he'd be like, I'll make an arrangement for you.
I have to interrupt you because you just asked like 5 questions at once.
It's the same
Just
topic,
give me
but
one question.
So how does one accept one's karma like that? Like,
how to accept one's karma?
Yeah, like that, where you missed your opportunity.
Okay, if something comes on its own accord and then you missed it, how to continue Krishna consciousness?
Yeah, and then how to accept that instead of going and saying, look, I know that I can reapproach, but I'm not allowed to almost. I must accept my karma. One always tries to diminish one's karma by oneself, by doing more good work. And that's like karma kanda all over again.
Okay, so your question is, so if something comes on its own accord,
yes,
you reject it.
Yes, and then you get your karma. Now, do you
I mean,
accept it?
Just let me see if I got the question right. So you reject it, and then because you reject it, you get karma, right? So then, how to continue on with the reaction?
Yeah.
And on the direct path of devotional service.
Yes.
Is that your question?
Yes, that's actually sounding much better than my actual question. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So when something comes along, sometimes we're not able to appreciate it and we don't accept the opportunity. It can happen. I remember there was like, Kardama Muni organized a tour of Bangladesh, all the holy places in Bangladesh. And I was still kind of new, and I saw like he sent emails out to disciples to come, and I kind of, like you said, you know, my service is here, how could I go? And I didn't understand the importance of what he's asking. So I missed that opportunity. It didn't happen again. So then, what's next for me is, do I get karma for that? Actually, you don't get karma for missing the opportunity. When it comes to devotional service, opportunities are actually unlimited. And the spiritual master is very merciful. That it's like, oh, you missed that opportunity, then okay, then you should pay for it. No, it doesn't work like that. Krishna's not like that either. It's like, okay, I understand, all right, then we'll present another opportunity, but in a different way for you to advance. And then the spiritual master would call me, he would, and then finally, even when before I started traveling, I was still attached to my services in Australia. Like he told me long ago before traveling, maybe 2 years before traveling, he was talking to me about like Soweto Rapiyatra and how all the African devotees are dancing, and I'm thinking like, wow, this is amazing, you know, I gotta go. And he said, yeah, you can come. And I was thinking, wow, but here I was like, you know, I was attached to the temple I was in. So he said, okay, I wasn't ready. And then he pulled another trick. Sometimes the pure devotees know how to trick you into like advancing. And what happened was, I was with him in another city in Australia, in Sydney. And there was a god sister speaking to him, and he says, hey, you should, I overheard the conversation, hey, you should take Harinamananda around the world with you, you know? And then he replied back, no, he's too attached to Melbourne, Australia. And then inside I was thinking, no, I'm not attached. I'll go. Yeah, I was like, you know, this whole like he appealed to this rebellious side, you know, that like I was a sellout, and I don't like being called a sellout. So he appealed it, and then I approached him after. He goes, you know, I said, Maharaj, I heard you said this to this devotee, and he goes, oh yeah, so what you gonna do about it? You know? And and then a few weeks later, then I ended up like making the step and leaving that temple and start traveling, and I didn't stop traveling since. And he sent me an email. He knew I was a bit afraid of making that step, so he goes, if you come to Europe, he said, you know, come to Europe. If you come to Europe, don't worry, I'll take care of you. So just that line was enough to sort of go, okay, he'll take care of me. And I didn't know anything about travel, visas, passports, immigration. I didn't know how it worked. I was so clueless. Now I'm like a seasoned traveler with it. But I never knew that would happen to me. This vision was bigger than me. So in response to your question, there's always opportunity to take up the plan of the Lord. And there's no karma for missing the opportunity.
Because I almost feel like my spiritual master tricked me as well. I feel like he just tricked me, because he let me speak a lot, and I could speak a lot, and he's listening. He's like, you got a lot of energy. He's like, you're not ready for household life. Like you're just like so much. He's like, go brahmachari, like just go. And then when I got to ISKCON, they were like, no, this and this, and take a wife and just go and work for Krishna. So it was like I was rebellious from the beginning. I didn't even follow the Bhagavad Gita, like what Arjuna was being told of, like, don't try and do this, just do it for me. And I thought, you know what? I already have my relationship with Krishna. I already have my relationship with my spiritual master, but there's no relativity with other people. You know what I mean? Like it's so far off. I almost feel like I'd made a wrong decision, and then even then I was like, what are you saying to yourself? It's like you were ready, you accepted that, and now you just have to sort of go ahead. And I feel like now I have more perspective, because I've watched households, I've seen it's a lot of work. If you don't do it properly, you get it wrong, and then you offend each other and you get divorced, and it's just, if you don't do it properly, don't do it at all. So now I have this, like, just by having this discourse, I now understand that there is no wrong or right. It's just everything happens with Krishna's like a
There's definitely wrong and right. There's definitely wrong and right. No, these ashrams are very helpful for purification when one's attached to the material world. You know, we're not going to throw Varnashram in the bin. But my spiritual master described it as a crutch. So if you're injured, you need a crutch to help you walk. But then when you're healed, you throw the crutch away. And we can see the example here, Kardama Muni, he's following the instruction of an authority, Svāyambhuva Manu. Even though he got the darshan of Lord, he's like, well, I saw God myself, I didn't need to listen to you. He could have did that, but he didn't. He understood, okay, you are my authority presented to me here by Krishna, so I should at least value what you have to offer. And then one could size it up against the mood and the instructions of their own personal spiritual master. And if it matches, one should follow. You know, if it does go against what your spiritual master has instructed, then one can respectively disagree or respectfully not follow. That's the only time. But if Vaishnavas ask you to do a certain service and it doesn't conflict with the interests of your own spiritual master, then in that case we should always consider, what can I do for the Vaishnavas? How can I please them? They are my masters. I am Das Ano Das. So this is our position always. We're always in the position of being the servant of an authority. There will never be a time where we not follow authority. Never.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you so much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shil Prabhupada ki jai.